Thank you guys for dropping back on my channel as I got a banging update regarding a major player, a major collaboration on Shibarium, bringing huge, and I'm talking huge, utility for the Bone token, taking Bone, the Bone ShibaSwap, straight to the moon. I'm talking about K9 Finance. And I know, guys, you want more details regarding K9. So I got the big boys in the house to give you the details. So, guys, tell my listeners, tell my subscribers, what is K9 all about and what is it bringing to the table for Shibarium and the Bone token? Go on, guys, tell us.
Of course. So K9 Finance is the official liquid staking partner of SHIB's layer 2 chain, which is Shibarium. So we are basically Lido Finance, which is the liquid staking on Ethereum, but for the SHIB blockchain. And what that means is it's going to allow people to secure the chain by delegating their bone to a validator, earn the fees from that validator that they would normally accrue, but receive a liquid token in return. So what this is doing at a very high level for SHIB and Shibarium is creating the first layer of banking infrastructure that can happen in a decentralized manner with SHIB and Shibarium. And very, very excited about it. And yeah, happy to get into this.
I've seen a lot of questions and I've seen you answer a lot of questions. So I don't want to assume anybody knows much of anything. So the first thing, when you say liquid staking token, what does liquid staking mean? Because I don't want to assume everybody even knows what staking is. So first, maybe what is staking, and then what in comparison is liquid staking? What's the difference?
So staking is when you lock up your token to receive a reward at a very high level. And typically when you lock up your token, you're illiquid, right? It's the essence of locking. So you're locking up a token and you're receiving 5% or 10% of rewards in order to lock your token. But if you're locking up ETH or whatever that asset is, with normal staking, you can't access your principal and what you put in there. So it's locked and you're just getting the rewards that come out of there. What the difference with liquid staking is that you do the exact same action. You stake your asset and you're going to earn your 5 or your 10%. But the stark difference is that you receive a liquid staking token in return that is priced at the exact same amount as what you put into the staking contract. So, for example, if it was ETH, you would and you put 1 ETH into a staking contract, you'd receive 1 staked ETH in return, and that liquid staking token is going to earn for you while your principal is locked up, and you can also use that anywhere on the blockchain. So you can use it for borrowing and lending. You can use it to purchase NFTs. You can use it for other staking opportunities. So it's a way to earn more and leverage your investment in a staking platform. And K9 is bringing this technology and these banking rails, as you will, to SHIB and Shibarium.
And you mentioned Lido on Ethereum. This is very heavily proven over there with what they've done. They've got some staggering numbers, don't they, with what they've been able to achieve?
Yeah, they last time I checked, before this huge bull run that we're seeing, they had over, believe it was $35 billion worth of value staked in Lido. We took a lot of inspiration at K9 from Lido. A lot of my experience, and again, I've been in the space since 2016. Have built everything from wallets to NFT marketplaces to DeFi auto compounding tools and building things on top of Lido. But Lido is tried, true, and tested. There's billions and billions of dollars of value that has been and used in this. There are case studies out there that show when Lido launched and when Ethereum transitioned from proof of work to proof of stake, it was incredibly bullish for Ethereum. More ETH was being locked up on the chain. DeFi activity went parabolic on Ethereum. And this is a tried, true, and tested model. We took a lot of inspiration, since Shibarium is essentially a fork of Polygon. We took a lot of inspiration from Lido Polygon with our platform, with a few stark differences in the token economics, which I'm sure that we will get into.
And you said that DeFi went parabolic when liquid staking was introduced on Ethereum. That essentially is to say that previously, before that option existed, this Ethereum was staked because people wanted to earn this return, but they could not do anything with it. They were bound by this in a way where they just, if they wanted to do DeFi on Ethereum, they just had to purchase more Ethereum and go play with that money. When they were given the option for liquid staking, the money flowed more freely because they were no longer bound to do that. So within the chain itself, that volume increased, I would assume, astronomically. And that's what you're saying too. The goal would be then to take that proven model of what Lido was doing and supply that now for the L2 that Shibarium has, and hopefully see that same trend, right?
Exactly. Like when liquid staking was not a thing, it operated in the same manner that you described. So if you had Ethereum, you'd have to lock it up, and you could do one action in DeFi. So you could lock up your Ethereum, you could earn your 3 to 5% through that process, and that's all you could do. But when liquid staking launched, the big thing here was that not only could you earn that 3 to 5% through locking up your Ethereum, but you could also take that liquid staking token and leverage it in many, many more opportunities that were built on top of Lido. So auto compounding tools, lending and borrowing, and many, many more. And the activity, that the number of transactions and the TVL on Ethereum skyrocketed when this technology was brought to Ethereum. And I think that's exactly why in our initial conversations with SHYTOSHI and Cal and the SHIB team, that everyone was so excited to be bringing this to Shibarium, and why we've been able to announce that we are an official SHIB partner, and bringing myself on board as an official development advocate for SHIB and Shibarium, because it was a very, very clear fit with Shibarium launching and wanting to be the home for DeFi in the meme economy.
So the product that you're talking about, which is this staking platform that'll provide the liquid staking, is using Bone, right? So where we're talking about Ethereum, we're saying staking Ethereum right now, and they were getting a return, and how Lido changed things for Ethereum, we would be saying in this conversation, people would be staking Bone, and they don't have a liquid staking option yet. And what you will be providing is that liquid staking option for Bone tokens, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So right now there's about Bone has skyrocketed in the last week since I posted these numbers, but there's about 25 to 30 million dollars of Bone that's delegated to validators, and all of that Bone is locked up, and it's locked up on Ethereum. So none of that value is actually translated onto the Shibarium blockchain. And exactly what we were talking about before. So the ability to unleash a lot of these tokens on Ethereum is what's going to happen with Shibarium. So when K9 Finance launches, and our roadmap will be doing that in Q3, all of that value that's currently delegated to validators will be able to receive a liquid staking token, and that token will be directly represented on Shibarium. And the back of the napkin math that we did with the SHIB team is that if we were to meet industry standards with how much of a native token is using a liquid staking product, it could be as much as $50 million or more that in TVL and liquidity that could be issued on the Shibarium chain.
That's a pretty staggering number when you look right now at the volume that circulates around Shibarium. The numbers would be devastated just to have a few $1 million show up. Everything would change dramatically. And we all know that the frenzy that volume creates, like it breeds more. So if you wanted to see eyes on a product, inject $50 million into it real quick and see when people don't look your way when that happens. So then I'm going to swerve, because we're talking about the K9 Finance product. We're talking about the liquid staking product that's going to be offered for Bone. But let's be honest, we're here because there's a token launch. So what is K9 token then? Because that's not what's the product's not coming out on the 7th. We have a token coming out. What's with the token? What am I doing with the token then if it's not related to the liquid staking? Can you tell me about the token?
Of course. So K9 Finance is a DAO, and the K9 token is what operates K9 Finance. So other liquid staking models like Lido, they are just like us, a very native DAO. We have a lawyer who's worked on, the lawyer of the DAO has worked on some of the other largest DAOs that you would see on snapshot.org. And the K9 token is used for two things. So one, like I said, is membership to the DAO. The DAO manages the treasury, votes on roadmap changes and things like that. But the more important thing that I think a lot of people here today will be interested in is that when you stake K9 tokens, the revenue that's generated from the validators that will be using the K9 product is given and distributed among K9 holders.
And that's going to be where it's really at. So if you're interested in the token launch, if you're here because you're trying to figure out what's going on, that's what you're going to be doing with your K9 tokens. It's not that this liquid staking, you're not taking your K9 tokens over to the liquid staking product. I've seen a few people confused about that, right? That's not what's happening.
No, not what's happening on March 7th. So March 7th is us launching on Uniswap. So it's when the general public will be able to go buy the token, become part of the DAO, and own that token and trade it freely as they wish. In terms of our roadmap, Q2 will be focused on security audits and testnet deployment of our product. And Q3 will be when we're launching the actual K9 Finance product, where people will be able to use this system. We'll have a validator up and running, and they'll be able to stake their K9 tokens to earn yield directly from the validator. And this is what's referred to as real yield. So I've talked about this a lot on previous spaces that I've done, but in DeFi summer in 2020, when all of these food coins were launching on Ethereum, I was very, very, very deep in that community. And products like sushi, when they were doing vampire attacks on Uniswap, they were ever inflating these tokens and providing people with yield. And people were going crazy because some days you would see 10,000% yield and whatnot on these different products that were launching. But the music immediately stopped with a lot of these products that were launching that model, and people started to understand that a lot of this yield in the early DeFi was driven by incredibly inflationary economics. So we use a very different approach like Lido, and it's what's called real yield. So it's verifiable on-chain revenue that's driving people to earn. And I think that the community, especially on Ethereum, has learned very quickly that that real yield is really what's going to be driving the future of DeFi, the future of decentralized finance on blockchain and on the internet. And that's exactly the technology that we're bringing to SHIB and to Shibarium.
One reason I bring that up is I personally like to point out, I think that the distance between the token generation event and launch on Uniswap and the product launch in Q3 is forever in internet terms. As far as crypto is concerned, that's a long time. And I know sometimes people's attention span can get a little short on stuff. I'm not saying it's you, maybe it's me, but that's a long time. So when you're getting into this token, this is a DAO governance token, and you're talking about voting and you're talking about snapshot.org. And it sounds like you're going to be asking of these people to be active within the community. For example, I am hosting the space, right? People within the community are going to have the potential to have roles and responsibilities if they so chose to do that, right? Is that how this is going to work?
Certainly. So one K9 token is represents your membership to the DAO. Anyone who owns K9 can propose votes to augment or change the roadmap as it's currently laid out in our light paper. There are two what we call security layers within the DAO. The first is a management council. So these individuals, including myself, have been elected in by DAO participants. The responsibility of the management council is to execute the roadmap as laid out in the light paper, to support the mission of K9 Finance DAO, which is to bring DeFi to SHIB and Shibarium. And the second responsibility is that whenever successful DAO votes go through, to actually execute those. So a great example of this was our second ever DAO vote was the approval to do an IDO on Ape Terminal. So that vote happened a few days ago. The DAO voted it through, and we did a successful IDO on Ape Terminal. So that's, and then the second security layer within the DAO is what's called the Round Table of Dogs. So this is a group of people who will also be elected. that has a much more passive role within the DAO than the management council. And their responsibility is that they are going to be required to have certain expertise that they would bring to the table. And they look at the votes that are being proposed to the DAO on Snapshot, and their responsibility is to approve which ones will actually go to vote, which is very important because the guiding light in how they will be doing their position within the DAO is where if a vote goes to the Canine Finance DAO, whether the outcome is a yes or a no, it should be moving Canine Finance towards the mission, which is to bring DeFi to SHIB and SHIBARIUM. So it's a filtering layer to make sure that all votes that are getting proposed and being voted on by DAO members are value adding to the community, and that nothing nefarious is being proposed.
When you talk about the council and these membership positions and stuff like that, is this something that where will people be able to go to see this information? Is this website stuff, or you have to be in the Telegram to keep up with that? Where are we following all of that?
The DAO charter is on the footer of our website for anyone to review. We'll also be using a platform called snapshot.org, which is a gasless DAO management platform that's used by the largest DAOs in the world, like Aave and like Lido. And that link will be embedded in our website for people to easily access and propose. And the great thing about this platform is it's gasless. And in order to sort of get momentum with some of these proposals and things like that, all of the chatter and activity will be happening in our official channels. And there's also like commenting features and things like that on snapshot.org. And we have our weekly DAO update meetings as well, which after we launch and when we're having these weekly meetings, I'm sure that proposed votes and conversation within the DAO will start to get discussed there more often.